everyone, here's Mrs. Budzik with review number 9. This is our last 2-week round of review before we start instructing you on some new material remotely. So this is our last review on decimals. So make sure you pay close attention to the tips and hints. You've got to have this decimal operations down. For number 1, you have to add. Remember to line up your decimals and annex the zeros in the 5. You had to, 5 is a whole number. It didn't have a decimal, so you had to add the decimal and annex the zeros, line up and add. Same thing for number 2 with subtraction. Same rules apply. Line up the decimals, annex your zeros. And I also showed you if you don't like borrowing, you can subtract 1/100th away from each value and set up the subtraction this way. That was a trick we learned back in September. For number 3, product means to multiply. Set this up like you're multiplying 138 times 42. Then once you have it set up, put your decimals in. But remember, don't move those decimals until you get your product. Then move it over 3 spaces in your product. Number 4, you have a whole number and you're dividing it by a decimal. So you have to take your divisor, 5/10, and make it into a whole number of 5. And whatever you do to the divisor, you must do to the dividend. Okay, now we're going to head to number 5. If you spent $5.20, that means you need to subtract it. So set up, line up your decimals. Again, I showed you both ways. Here's if you want to borrow. Here's if the borrowing is confusing. You can set it up this way as well, taking just 1/100th away from each value. Number 6, I love this question. You have to do all 4 problems, and you need to see which quotient is a terminating decimal. So I showed you how to set them all up. Now go ahead and do your division. Number 7, lining up decimals. In order to compare them, you've got to line them up, annex your zeros, and then start comparing. Number 8's my favorite. You add a square. The perimeter of a square is when you add the 4 sides up. The perimeter, when you add them all up, is 30.4. And that equals 4 times s. We've got a little one-step equation here. We're bringing in the algebra. So to solve it, you're going to divide both sides by 4. When you do that, that's going to give you the length of one side. Now we're still not done, because now we need to take that one side and use our area formula. The formula for the area of a square, A equals S times S. That's the naughty one. So plug in your side and calculate your area. Good luck. If you have any questions, just send them to me via Google Classroom. And let's get ready for this last round of review before we begin our new material. Miss everybody.